Okay, so welcome back to the 10-6 diaries. So we are on episode 24, I'm pretty sure. So this is me when I was back in Australia. This was at like the start of December, so I'm still quite far behind in terms of like uploading, but I think I'm just going to upload the next 3 weeks of training and just combine that into one video, and then I will show you my sort of prep week for my season opener. And I don't know if I'll do the season opener as a separate video, so I'll have like the prep week and then I'll have maybe the season opener as like a vlog type thing, because I did film some content for that, so I might do that. I'll see how it goes. But yeah, so this was in Australia, so I was testing, this was test week, so testing like sprints, testing lifting numbers, just doing all sorts, and it was a productive test week. Only thing I would sort of say was my knee was absolutely cooked after the jump session on Saturday. It definitely did not feel like it was in great shape, but still managed to muster up some honestly really solid times for the sprints. I think I worked out that the 20 to 30 from this 3-point stance was like 1.03, and like technically you'll see in a second, it looked, you know, the best it ever has. Like I've never ran my technique's never looked as good as this when I've been running as quick as this. Like obviously you can kind of have amazing technique when you run slow, but like how it looked when I was running, you know, like one of my fastest ever 20 to 30 meter splits is like, it just looked really nice. I will say there was some wind on this day. There was wind behind me, so that's definitely like a factor, but I don't really know how much. And obviously like at some points there was a lot of wind and at some points there wasn't much, so it's like, I think it's hard to say. But I ran a little 4.01 30 meter PR, so I ran that twice on 2 separate reps, like it was the same time. So yeah, 3-point stance PR, cannot complain. And I think it worked out to be like 3.99 on the free lap. So yeah, it was a very productive session. Then went on to testing some snatches at the gym. So I was hoping to try and PR on snatch, but I just kind of like the 60 kilo rep moved really well, and then 65 felt like so much heavier for some reason. And then I think after that, it's like sometimes if you just get like a slight knock, it's hard to then come back from it. It just sort of depends. Like some days you'll be like, I guess, fired up for it. Some days you're maybe not as fired up for it, and you need to really run off the momentum as opposed to, you know, being able to come back from harder situations. And I think that like also applies for sprinting as well. Like sometimes you're maybe not going to feel it as much, but if you can get into a good rhythm, then you can really, you know, like blast past that. But then, as I say, like if you're not in a good rhythm, if you're not in a good sort of you know, like headspace almost, then it's sometimes quite hard to, you know, come back from that. But yeah, so tried to go for a 75 kilo PR, so matched my training PR of 70 kilos, tried to go for 2 kg all-time PR because I did do 73 kilos last year to set a Scottish under 23 record, but 75 kilos just wasn't there. I feel like it is doable. I feel like 75 to 80 kilos for a power snatch should be there, but it's just, yeah, just on the day just wasn't going up. And just, yeah, as I say, some days will be like that. You win some, you lose some, just gotta keep pushing forward. That is the main thing. So yeah, then after that I went on to testing squat, but as I mentioned earlier, my knees were like absolutely cooked at this point. So my plan was that I still wanted to test squat because I hadn't tested my squat since September or October of last year, I think it was. So I just really wanted to test it to see where it was at. So last year I did 137 kilos for a single, which was like 2.2 times body weight. And then, you know, today I was like, right, let's go for like a 3 kilo PR. But I had like a condition on these squats, so I was only going to do like a slow lower, because I usually do a much fast lower than what that is. But yeah, it was like tempo squats. Like the warm-ups were like, I wasn't pushing in 10.
Let's go.
Definitely feel like 150, possibly even like 155 is doable. And I honestly believe I can get up to about 160 this year on an ATG back squat. I just feel like I've not really fully explored my new strengths at this heavier body weight, but I guess only time will tell. I'm looking forward to actually like the little kind of like off-season like bridge between indoors and outdoors, where I'll get to hopefully test some squat numbers and some power clean numbers and really sort of see some gains. being translated to the track and just seeing the gains in the weight room as well. It's always nice to see that. That's one thing I would say about me that's probably different to a lot of sprinters, is I do really enjoy like the lifting aspect of things. Like I go into the gym and I enjoy it, and I know there's a lot of people that don't, and I can never get why people don't, but yeah, for me, I just kind of love the whole process of it, really. There's definitely parts that I don't like tempo runs, but you know, I definitely, as I say, enjoy the just process. It's very, very fun for me. So yeah, then Tuesday was conditioning. So conditioning was those like tempo runs that you just saw there, just running across the field at like 75%, and then accidentally maxed out on bench press. John, if you're seeing this, you didn't see me go off program and max on bench press. That didn't actually happen. It's just some AI generated clips and it's not real. But yeah, I did that. I managed to actually PR by 5 kilos with 75 kilos, but my like bar path on that rep was like atrocious. Like it went like forward, and then it was like really hard, and it was like a 5-second rep. It was honestly so slow. It was so slow that my velocity based training, if you like go back to the clip and look at it, my velocity based training tracker actually had it stopped the rep like halfway through, because I was like moving it so slow that it thought that that's like where I'd finished the rep. Like that's how slow it was. So yeah, that wasn't ideal. I should have probably had 80 kilos. Like I feel like if I didn't have like a 5-second 75 kilo rep before I tried the 80, I feel like 80 maybe could have went up, but is what it is. I'm definitely like a lot heavier, so it makes sense that my bench has, you know, gone up from where it was last year. But yeah, it'd be nice to do a cycle. I feel like I could get into the kind of like 90 kilo range. Yeah, I feel like I could get to 100 kilos like relatively quickly on bench, but it's like I don't care as much for bench as I care for like, you know, squats or Olympic lifting. I definitely enjoy those lifts way more. So yeah, then on Wednesday I did some track work. So I was supposed to test my 10-meter fly. It was like very hot, so I think it has been quite hard, or it was quite hard to adjust to the heat, because obviously I came from Scotland where it was like, you know, peak was maybe like 4 or 5 degrees in a day, and now I'd like came to this place where like 30 was like the pretty sort of standard temperature, like 29 was the standard temperature for the day at this time of year. So it was probably quite a shock to the system, and I think I did struggle with it a little bit, especially because there wasn't much shade on the track that I did train at. But yeah, it was a solid track. Actually, a funny story about it is I had to like jump the fence to use this track, because there was no tracks that were just like available to the public to book. This was like a private track that was like, I don't know if it was like owned by a school or like what the situation was, but it just wasn't like bookable for like individual sessions. So I just had to like jump the fence, and there was a guy that was doing like groundwork that I saw a few times when I was having to jump the fence, and he was just pretty chill about it. And I feel like it really sort of described the Australian sort of, I don't know, like way of life. Like they're very sort of laid back and chilled out. It's definitely a really nice place, and it's really cool to train with all the guys. You know, Tom was out here being my hype man all the time. You'll maybe hear him in the background of a few of the clips hyping me up. He's just like that. But yeah, it was really cool. So hopefully one day he'll come over here. I'll show him Scotland, and that would be very cool. But yeah, back to the video. I kind of got off topic and got off course a little bit. So on Wednesday, test max velocity was a little bit underwhelming, honestly. I think maybe my acceleration, I was like going too hard, burning too much energy. So I feel like maybe if I take it a little bit easier, I can try and get some better max velocity. And I think in general, I just need to do some more max velocity work over like longer distances. I think that's something that we'll work on as we're in indoor season. That's the plan anyway. So yeah, that was decent. And then in the weight room, was maxing on power cleans, managed to get 105, as you saw me just do there. So I actually got a really close attempt at 110 kilos, but I got like pinned to the ground with it. Like it was, I could have stood it up for a full clean, but that was the point where my knee legitimately just like, you know, it just felt very sore. There was like intense pain after that, and like when I squatted down into it, like a deep squat in a deep knee position, my knee pain kind of spiked up to like a solid like 8 out of 10 maybe. Like it was not comfortable to sit in at all. But yeah, I think that's what sort of really messed my knees up really,
Yep.
really bad on this trip. So a 10 out of 10, do not recommend, jumping for knee pain. Training for knee pain is not a good idea. I was able to do some things, like I did like those block cleans there. I did it from the blocks simply because I was trying to save some load from my knees, because obviously starting in a deeper position felt like that was going to really mess my knees up quite bad. So I thought, right, just like adjust it a little. And I think that's something that is important to do, is if you can work around stuff in some way, in some capacity, then always try and do that. It just makes sense to do something like that. But yeah, that's really about it for the video. So I hope you enjoyed watching and maybe learned a thing or two. Probably not, but hopefully. So yeah, that is it for this week. So I will see you in next week's episode, hopefully. And as I say, it'll be, I think, 3 weeks in one, so we'll have like an extra long video. So I hope you're ready for maybe like a 25-minute video. But yeah, that's it. So thank you for watching.